I wasn't able to go live because to do Bible study because I was having some issues with my internet, and I'm trying to get that together. Um, and I'm seeing that my reception isn't very good now. So I'm on my way to work. So I probably will be trying to do my lives. Um, I'm gonna continue to keep trying to do my lives on Fridays. I'm not switching up nights or anything like that. I'm gonna get back on my game as far as doing my podcasts and everything because I have a lot of interesting um, topics that I want to tackle and talk about. Um, I've been seeing where if you paid attention to the news, like I watch the news from YouTube, and I wanted to talk about that. For those of you who haven't become who aren't YouTube watchers, I really recommend. My mother has started watching YouTube. She finally downloaded it onto her Roku device, her TV, and she said she's becoming addicted. It's very addicting. I can see why my kids used to spend so much time on our computer watching it because there is a lot of interesting stuff on there, especially a lot of documentaries. But they're also, like I said, they're doing movies. So a few of the movies that are now available on YouTube, and I'll talk about that the next time I'm able to go live from my apartment. And that is Cruella, um, the last installment of Saw that Chris Rock was in, Spiral, um, part one of Breathe, Don't Breathe or whatever. Two, the part one, I finally watched it, and if you are planning on going to the theaters and seeing Don't Breathe, the second one, I do recommend it. I'm gonna finally get my movie reviews together this week because me and my mom, the Queen Mother, have been back going to movies on a weekly basis. Tonight, and this tonight, I'm going to go see the new Candyman, the one I think that's by Jordan Peele. So I, Jordan Peele is like really making a name for himself in horror, which I think is so great because he's mainly known. Like my kids used to really be big fans of Key and Peele. He and he and Keys TV show, and so I watched it. They are very funny. I remember going to see Keanu, the first movie that they feature film that they made, um, and I will be doing a review on um, Saw. I mean on Saw on Candyman, as well as Respect. I got to see Respect, Jennifer Hudson's interpretation of Aretha Franklin's story. Um, it was hard not to make comparisons between her and Cynthia Erivo's interpretation for Discovery Channel. But they both women did an excellent job. Both women are excellent singers. You know, um, Jennifer Hudson was one of my favorites on American Idol when she was on. Her and Fantasia. I predicted accurately that both women would go on to do good things. I knew that Fantasia had it the second that I saw her, and but I also said if she don't get it, then it'll go to Jennifer Hudson. So both of them have done really well with their post Idol careers. So I'm really proud of both of them. Um, so I saw here recently some members of a church that I used to belong to have decided to stalk me on the internet and decided to um, show up in my feeds and everything. Now, let me say this. Yes, I know I say a lot. And it's probably going to be a minute before I stop saying a lot because I'm getting used to speaking publicly, because this is a form of speaking publicly. So deal with it, okay? Deal with it. Because, first of all, if you're following me on YouTube and you're showing up giving commentary, first of all, I don't really give a damn how you feel about my way of my manner of speech. My 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 purpose is number one ministry, but also, media ministry. What I want is for you to get something out of whatever I'm posting. Just like when I did 30 days, just like when I do my annual 30 days of black feminism. What I want, or I do, or, and that's another thing I want to discuss. I am thinking about, because now I'm back on iPhone, um, where, for a minute I was, nothing against Android, nothing against Android users, but my best experiences doing media ministry have been with an iPhone. I'm sticking with iPhone. Okay, it just has, for one thing, for everything that it does. Um, I've had most of the sites or apps that are out do better. I can do more. I have more capabilities with iPhone than they do with Android. So I'm still with Anchor. I'm not, giving that up. Still on YouTube. So I am on all the forums. The only thing that I haven't, the only thing that I stopped doing was I got rid of the Antoinette Speak um, Facebook page, and now all of my content will either be on my personal Facebook page or it'll be on the Adams Rib Media Ministry Facebook page. So I haven't stopped nothing. I still have my 7 blogs, which are now, because there's 7 different entities. I have a plan for what I want each of those blogs, each of those blogs to eventually morph into. So, and I'm going to be writing all. I'm going to make the plan and write it out. So, my former denomination had plans for me, and they weren't to give me a hope of a future. And so, many of their people are showing up and offering all this terrible commentary that's meant to discourage me from continuing to keep doing it. I'm going to continue to keep doing it. Okay? First of all, it's my stuff. Adams Rib Media Ministry is my shit. Okay. So when it's yours, you have the ability to get better at whatever it is you're doing. So showing up and commenting and you say one more time and doing all of this. Well, I didn't ask you for all of that because my media ministry is meant to be a salon, not just a hair salon. The original, and I have said this in the past, the original definition for salon is a meeting place where you can discuss and pontificate on various different topics. I want discussion on the topics, and I'm looking and I'm like, y'all really got down with the whole Bobby DeBarge movie and everything. Bobby DeBarge is becoming a very big topic, and a lot of people might say, well, he really didn't do. He did a whole lot more than what people give him credit for. He really was an unsung hero. Um, he is, how we know about the DeBarge family, who is I just recently saw an unsung resaw because I had seen it before with the Silvers family. So the Silvers family was kind of the DeBarge family of the 70s. And like I tell people, you have to understand, well, why are there so many comparisons to the Jackson family? Because the Jackson family were kind of a first. Whenever you are a trailblazer and you open up doors, anybody that comes after you is going to get compared to you. So when I hear all the post-mortem comparisons between Prince and Michael Jackson, or Prince and MJ as we love to call him, because Michael was a first. But before there was Michael, there was Stevie Wonder. But for whatever reason, Michael still gets that credit for being, somebody that basically grew up before the cameras. And so anybody in that age group or that has come after Michael gets compared to Michael. Michael's been dead for like what, a decade, and there are still young singers that when they have that trademark Michael Jackson sound as a young person, they get compared to Michael. Donny Osmond got compared to Michael, and they're the same age. So, you know, when we first met Bobby DeBarge and fell in love with him and his brother Tommy, he was singing with a group, an R&B group called Switch, and so he had people make comparisons between him and one of his younger brothers, El DeBarge, because they sound a lot alike. Okay, so he had a trade, and I think a lot of it is a cautionary tale because of the abuse that they suffered at the hands of their father. Um, what could have been, because he was really sort of the breakout star of the group Switch, even though everybody in Switch was very, very talented and was very, very, good at what they did. They had a lot of notable members in that group. One of them I used to think was real cute was James Ingram, singer James Ingram's brother, Philip Ingram. And it also shows you like how people wear many hats, because he wore many hats and everything. He was just a very figurative um, person in the world of R&B. But I never thought that particular post would get it, because the Bobby DeBarge story, which was on TV1, um, so much that I thought that they could do better with that film. But that post, people are still commenting on that post. I have posted so much other content since then, and people are still going in on that post. I'm also going to continue to keep doing my dedications to the artists that are being featured in the verses. I didn't get to see. I was having problems with my phone during that time period, so I didn't get to see the one with Docs and with Dipset, but I bet it was good. Um, like I said, I'm a hip hop head all the way back to the Sugar Hill Gang. I think a lot of people don't understand that because they, think, well, female preacher, female minister, church lady. Like, I've been a church lady all my life. I mean, I have been involved in things that, good things, positive things. I thought about that because, those of you that are old school rock heads, that Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones passed away, recently passed away. So, um, at the age of 80, how many people get to live the life he lived and do something that they love all the way up to the day they die? 80. And when you think about it, because I have done, when I did, and I'm still going to, and I'm, Eclectic Weekends is not dead. It's going to stay alive because I enjoy doing it. I will still be doing, and now that I'm back on iPhone, I will. I now have the ability to go live and do the live broadcast from Station Head like I was doing. There's been a lot of merging of companies between Anchor and Spotify, and the music that I supply when I do Eclectic Weekends and when I do Eclectic Music Geek podcast is coming from Spotify, from the Spotify service and everything. So you have them to thank for being an endless source of supply for any type of music. vocal chorus that I sing with on a regular basis is starting back up on Monday. So Music Mondays will be back, and it's always fun because usually right around the time they do that, I wind up watching the movies, and so I wind up, I think I may do more commentary, season commentary on The Voice and who I think, my projections for who I think is going to be somebody to watch out for on a lot of these shows. I didn't watch the last season of American Idol. I just really didn't have a lot of time to do it. I had a lot of stuff going on a personal, personal note, and that's kind of why I'm having such an issue with being able to, but starting this week, I'm going to at least be recording my podcast and submitting them and posting them on Anchor, because that's what I was doing before, was recording them on my phone, recording them on my phone and then posting them to Anchor. And I can still do that. So right now, I'm temporarily, for at least the next week or two, going to be, recording my stuff and posting it to Anchor, as a podcast and everything. So I'll be back to doing that. So right now, I'm back to running my ministry out of my iPhone temporarily until I can get things going back again with my internet, so that I can go back to using my laptop, especially to go live, because I love going live from my laptop. I have more room. It just, there's some things that I can do with my laptop that are very limiting trying to do it on my phone. I can attach equipment like mics to my laptop and different other stuff like that. So it makes it a whole lot different. I'm trying to look into DJ equipment, so that when I do go live and do the Station Head lives, which Station Head is giving us the ability to record our broadcast so that we can keep it as a podcast. And I like that, and I talked about that before, because it allows me to post it the next day to my blogs, so that anybody who didn't get to hear me the night before, because maybe it was too late, because I'm, by nature a night owl, so I have the tendency to like to do things late, and especially on Friday nights. Friday nights, I'm kind of like, ooh, it's the weekend. I'm a party person by nature, so I love, being able to stay up late on Friday nights, watch movies of any kind, get my little popcorn thing going on, and be able to do stuff like that. So um, I'm going to do more stuff like this, what I'm doing now, being able to talk to you, with what I call fresh manna. And so fresh manna is basically my ability to, that's one of the reasons why I want to keep it on Fridays, because Friday for me, for some reason, when I get up on Friday morning, it's almost like God opens up my brain and just pours all this wisdom and all this different other stuff for me to want to share with people on Friday mornings. So on Friday mornings, I wind up going, I never, it's like, whew. And I never thought about it that way before, but man, that's right. So, and my Bible studies are a little bit unconventional, because I'm not always doing the traditional church thing of opening with a scripture, unless God puts one on my heart. But I do like to open things up for discussion. I like to be able to discuss different topics. Um, I'm seeing here lately with the Delta. Um, One of the things I like about being black and being a member of the black community is my sensitivities, like help with race relations, because I can understand where my own people are coming from. I know our history with this country, and I know the reasons why we are very suspect of the medical community, because we have not always had the best history. I will say this much though: this Delta thing, just like I remember saying a while back, I said I told someone, I said I don't think we should sleep on this whole COVID thing, because I'm not a masker, obviously, because my mask is hanging from my windshield, from my rear view mirror. But I try to respect social distancing and mask wearing and everything, and I don't think we should sleep on it. And many of the people who have been the most vocal about not wearing a mask have wound up being people who either caught the last variant or catching this new variant of what they call Delta. So this thing ain't done with us yet. I personally have been been praying and been like, okay, Lord, are you trying to say something? I think your prayer right now concerning COVID and Delta, you need to hear what God is saying. And I don't mean no false prophecies. Please, I, yeah, I'm going to say this. Do not use COVID as an excuse to come after the LGBTQIA community or any other community. I'm not sensing, even though I know, like, God has used plagues to catch attention. When I think about biblical plagues, I think about, now. So Saturday could be a day for you fresh manna as well. So when I think of biblical plagues, I think about the plagues that attacked Egypt because of Pharaoh's refusal the to let the Hebrews go and let them come out of slavery. Something to think about, right? Okay. So when the plagues visited them, they visited them because Moses kept going to Pharaoh and saying, "Let my people go," and he wouldn't let the people go, so they kept catching all these plagues. So whenever I think of a biblical plague, God visiting a biblical plague on a land, those are the things that I think about. Now, am I saying, well, first of all, the United States is not the only ones being attacked. We're actually being attacked with this globally. And if I were going to say anything, it would possibly, and no, I don't think it's it may be about classism. Who knows? Okay, because one thing about all of these tragedies that keep befalling us, it's almost like that's the only time we seem to remember that we're in this thing together is when we are visited with a plague or some type of school shooting or some type of mass killing. It usually winds up being that, then all of a sudden we come together. But then as soon as the fear factor wears off, then we go right back our separate ways and go right back to the hating and saying all kinds of crazy stuff and doing all kinds of crazy stuff to each other. So my message on, if you're going to go prophetic with the whole Delta and COVID situation, maybe hear what God maybe hear what God is saying. God, are you trying to is this an attack of the enemy, or are you trying to say something? And if you are trying to say something, what are you trying to say to us? Also keep the people over in Afghanistan in your prayers. Pray for the women over there that are being oppressed by this, what is it, ISIS, some of these political regimes over there. Because, I never thought about the fact that when we were over there, we had troops over there. And many of y'all know my son was over in Afghanistan for a little while, and He came home shortly after they took um, Bin Laden out. So he was able to come home during Obama's presidency. I do I do think that there may be a message about the treatment of women. Okay, and I don't think that's, this whole thing, because I never realized with our troops over there how much order they were keeping by being over there until they started to pull our troops away from over there. And now some of these very, very sexist, very, very misogynistic regimes are starting to step up, and they're starting to attack the women, okay, over in these lands. Now, I'm going to say this. I think I remember saying at one point when I was attending this one church, we as women of Christ, if you are in Christ, you are in a very liberating position, even though you wouldn't know it by some of the teachings in some of our churches. Okay? So pray for the women, let your pray and stand with the women over there because of what they are going through. They're trapped, those the women were allowed to make a lot of inroads and strides um, over there due to the fact that we were keeping order. And for those who want to criticize Biden, I don't think that Trump could have done it even. I don't think that Trump could have done a better job. There are some situations that are going to be messy no matter how you handle it. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep the troops up there forever because they got families, and that want to see them and want and love them and don't want them to be over there forever. And you're taking your life into your hands. Um, the bombing that happened over there, because they're really trying to get our citizens out of there safely. People have been over there studying and different other stuff like that. So it's just been I think this situation was going to be messy no matter who was in office and no matter how. But I trust that I voted for Biden because y'all, I've been quite vocal about how my lack of support for Donald Trump. So I really don't think that Donald Trump would have been the man for the job of doing this, because I really only saw him going in there and making that situation worse. Okay, well, so I'm almost at work right now, and I enjoyed being able to have this discussion and talk with y'all. I'm gonna do stuff like this in the morning more often because I realize that lots of times I'm always vocalizing and talking about certain things. I'm like, I may as well go ahead and go live and talk about some of the stuff that's on my mind, and let this be content. So I'm going to park my car. One thing I and find a desk to work at. It has been a pleasure to talk to you and participate. It has been a pleasure to talk to you and say what I have to say to you. Now, if you are enjoying my podcast, wherever you are enjoying me from, because you should be seeing me on Facebook, you should be seeing me on Twitter, you should be seeing me. I think um, I think I am on Instagram through this. Um, One of the things I like about the Habs that you're seeing me on YouTube, definitely. Um, you should be seeing me on a whole lot of platforms, and I'm going to make a list of the platforms the next time I go live or next time I podcast, so that I can let you guys know where you can hear me. Not only that, I have a whole lot of other social media I'm not a whole sexual. I have social media places where I post my stuff after I get done going live. So I will be going live again tonight. Tonight, me and the Queen Mother will be going to see Jordan Peele's. I think that it's Jordan Peele. There's been a little bit of controversy over who to credit this movie to, but for right now, I'm going to say Jordan Peele's um, Candyman. So, from what my mother was telling me, because she saw a few people being, the actors being interviewed, it is not a remake. It is a continuation of the Candyman story. Those of you who know me really well, especially my daughter, she's looking. They know I love scary movies. So and the fact that there are starting to be more Black people who are starting to direct scary movies and get into the horror movie genre, um, I'm enjoying that a lot. There's a lot of people who became famous during the time that I was younger that are no longer with us, like John Singleton. So for me, seeing more Black directors, but also seeing us take our place in the, because horror movies. I remember back when I was younger seeing Scream Blackula Scream and the original Blackula movie with William Marsh, and wondering why we aren't more of a presence in the world of horror. Why there was also Abby, which is kind of a take on The Exorcist. So during the black exploitation um, um, period, which was almost like a black renaissance in films. And then when the 90s came around and it was a lot of hood movies, and I saw, Death by Temptation, and what is his name? I think his name is it not Corey Glover? His name was Corey something, but he wound up making the Tales from the Hood franchise. And so it was like I'm ready for us to like really expand and like blow this thing up. So, and I think a couple of the Candyman movies were out during that time too. So I'm looking forward to seeing this tonight and watching and everything that Jordan Peele has done so far in horror comedy. I've enjoyed. I enjoyed Us. I enjoyed um, Get Out. And so I'm looking forward to this tonight. I'm like, okay, because I kept hearing about it when they were talking about doing it. So I'm like, I'm so here for it. So you guys have a good day. Enjoy your Saturday. Those of you who don't have to work today, even if you have to work today, enjoy your Saturday, even if you got to work today. I got to work today. I'm about to go in right now to work. So you guys be blessed, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.